right, Peyton, here we go. So the last time we talked, you were asking me a lot of questions, smart questions, and I had to think hard about some of those questions. And at the end of our conversation, I said, next time, we're going to turn the tables and I'm going to ask you some questions, right? So here we are, a little more than a month later, and I've thought about some things that I want to know about you and ask you about being a student in Long Beach Unified School District, okay?
Yeah.
The first thing is just for fun. Tell me a little bit about what you have been doing since it's been summer.
Well, I've been drawing a lot, and I've been skating on my new roller skates, and I've just been hanging out, trying to stay cool.
Yeah, it's been kind of hot, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask you, because I'm an educator, have you read any good books lately?
I'm reading Hugo Carbe, but I haven't read that in a while, but I'm more focusing on outdoor activities right now.
Well, that's good. It's a good time to be doing that. And I love that you are doing roller skating. That's something that I remember from when I was about your age too.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
And me and my brother started a garden.
Oh, what are you growing?
Well, we got some new plants yesterday, like basil, parsley, and we're growing tomatoes, radishes, and onions, and strawberries.
Oh, neat. Well, you're going to have some fresh things to eat this summer at home, aren't you?
Yeah, and hopefully we want to get like a watermelon plant sometime in the future.
That is great. Well, you can share that with me because I love watermelon too.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about school. And thinking about just all your days as an elementary student at Prisk, because if I think I remember you started your very first time in elementary school was at Prisk. Is that right? You went to one elementary school.
Yeah.
So what have you liked most about elementary school? And maybe you even have a favorite memory that you want to share.
Well, my favorite, what I love most about elementary school is all the experience you get to have, like riding a school bus for the first time or going on your first field trip, even though I didn't go on my first field trip in elementary school. But it's your first time going to a school and your first time maybe interacting with other kids your age, because you might have not gone to preschool. So I think it's really nice. Mm-hmm. And I loved elementary school.
Did you know a lot of the students in your neighborhood or that you were going to go to school with before you got to school, or was that the time that you got to know everybody?
Actually, no, because I live by Longfellow and Hughes, and so I don't live by Prisk at all. So I only knew one person, which lives on the other block from me, that went there. But I only learned that like a year ago. So I didn't know anybody. I just had to learn. But it was really easy for me to learn because I also like met people from preschool that were like going to. So yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Well, I bet you make friends really easily. And I'm glad you shared that you go to a school that's different than where you live, because you know what? A lot of our students in Long Beach Unified go to schools in places not where they live, not in their immediate neighborhood. That's one of the things that's neat about Long Beach is that students have choices about where they go to school. So I'm glad that you shared that. Do you have a memory from when you were little, like when you were in kindergarten or first grade or second grade, that is a fun memory to have?
Well, actually, it's in third grade. Okay. When we went to the Aquarium of the Pacific on the way back, we listened to the radio and we like belted out songs and everybody was singing it. So that was a really fun memory. And then like the teachers were like all like, whoa, because they didn't know we knew so many songs. So it was really funny.
Everybody knew the words to the songs.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a fun memory. I bet the bus driver liked it. Yeah, that's great. I love that memory. So something that I want to ask you, because we're always trying to make things better in Long Beach Unified School District, even though there's a lot of really good things in our schools. So I like to ask students, what is something that you would like either advice or what would you suggest to me to talk to people about making better for students?
I think communication is a very big deal because sometimes the parents are too busy to read their emails or they don't see the email, and so they can't notify their kid. They can't notify their kid what's happening. So I think and also kids should learn how to use their emails and access their emails, because that will be a very important thing in the future, especially if you're a business owner.
That's true. That's an important skill. Do you think elementary students, could we expect that they learn how to use email, even elementary students?
Yeah, I actually think that you should learn it as young as you can, like maybe first grade or second grade, and then you should keep being reminded how to use it in case you forgot over the summer or you haven't used it in a while and you need a reminder on how to use it and access it and do all the stuff in communicating and doing that stuff. Because I think it's really important that not only the teachers connect with the students, that people higher up from teachers like principals or even you will get to communicate with them and not just like this.
Yeah, thank you. That's something that I'll be thinking about. It's a good idea. So I want to ask you some questions because not only are you a student, but you've been in the Female Leadership Academy, right? So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you first, before you tell me about yourself in the Female Leadership Academy, tell me a little bit about the purpose of the Academy and why you think someone decided to make a Female Leadership Academy at risk.
Well, I think Female Leadership Academy is making sure that young females and young adults get a chance to have their voice heard and make sure they actually have a voice. Because a lot of girls and a lot of people in general just don't have a voice like some people others do. Like they might not be as outgoing, and especially if something's going to hurt them in the future, they should have a voice to speak up and actually say like something's wrong. So I think that's a very important part, and also make sure that young females have like a group, you know, because they might not have any friends, but when you're in Female Leadership Academy, you make friends no matter what, because you just learn everything about them. And that's why I think it's so important to like ask people a bunch of questions to make sure you know them. And so you grow a friendship with them and you grow a bond.
That is important. I like how you describe that, and it makes me think about just how important relationships are and how I like to say knowing each other's stories is so important. It's a way that we can connect by knowing more about each other. So that's great. Thank you. What kinds of projects and activities have you done in the Female Leadership Academy?
Well, last year we sold metal straws to make sure we were saving the environment and save the turtles. And then this year we were creating a book about female leaders in the Long Beach community. So those are like the two main ones, and then we've just done like little things I can't clearly remember, but we've done little things in the past that made sure like we were good. And leading up to that, like take for example when we were selling the straws, we made posters and we did math to make sure we had enough money to order the straws to sell them, so we can also make a little bit of a profit and give it back to the school.
Oh, that's good. So, yeah, there's a lot of skills that you're learning even beyond the service project or the project that you're doing, like math skills and learning about profit. Those are important. Are there any other, when you think about Female Leadership Academy, what are some of the other things that you've learned, either that you think are helping you to be a better student or just to be more successful as a person? What are some things that you've learned?
Well, I've learned to speak up more, and I've learned to be more of a leader, especially for like when I grow older and into middle school or high school, I will be a role model to younger girls and even maybe older girls that might say like, I can do this and so you can do this, because just a normal girl like me living in a huge world can make something so big. Like you could do it too. And it's kind of like a reminder to like get up off of your butt and like go do something.
Yeah.
Instead of just watch like YouTube videos.
Yeah. Well, and in the group that you're in the group of female leaders, I bet you motivate each other and encourage each other and inspire each other. And that's really important for young women to do with each other. So I bet you all are just really a great group that help one another.
Yeah. Self and team motivation is a very big deal in FLA. Because it's nice to know that if you don't believe in yourself, other people believe in you. Because if you're alone and you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. If you have friends that encourage you and like support you, then that's how you know like, I can actually do this.
Do you do activities or do your teachers talk to you about that? How are you learning that? I'm just curious.
Well, we've learned like, I learn a lot of things by myself, but it's especially important to learn things from adults. And like we do exercises, like we went to this camp for a day and we did like team exercises and motivation stuff. And so it's very important. And we do like little things. It might not be the biggest thing, but it's a huge thing.
You meant the high school.
Yeah, like doing team building kinds of activities and things like that.
Yeah, and also learning from older girls. Like we met with the Milliken Female Leadership Academy, which is like the biggest one in Long Beach, I think. And it was really nice to like see them and like see what they do and like kind of do the same as they do, but maybe just a little bit toned down.
Right, the younger version of that. Oh, I bet they would be really, or they will be really proud to know that you mentioned them. That is great. So not all schools have a female leadership academy, especially not all elementary schools. What advice would you give to other schools about why they should have a female leadership academy?
I think they should have a female leadership academy, especially at a younger age group, like elementary school, because it will blossom you into a young adult at a younger age. And so they're more independent and they don't rely on people as much, you know? And so when you go into high school, you're not just trying out for something and like you're just a little fish in a big pond, because it's scary. It's, you know, when you're starting new things, but once you start at a younger age, because you don't really think of things as much as a younger person, and you think it's more important when you grow older and you know so much more.
Mhm. It's like you're practicing all of those skills at a younger age and helping you to develop confidence and courage and some of the things that sometimes it's hard to develop, right? Especially as a younger person. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to have a group too, because like especially I wasn't much of a friend with some person, but once we started Female Leadership Academy, we grew closer, and we might not go to the same middle school, but we might reconnect in FLA in high school, and we might be friends forever. So it's just, and it's kind of like a get together where you get to meet so many people and you get to have friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You might also, depending on where all of you go to middle and high school, you might be able to take the Female Leadership Academy and start a Female Leadership Academy at your middle school if they don't have one too, which is another great reason to start in elementary school. Then you're ready when you get to middle school. So that is exciting to me because it makes me know that there are female leaders moving their way up who are going to make a difference in the schools too. Yeah. So I've been thinking about something, especially because we had to.
I think that's my main goal.
Is it? Good. Well, I'm going to be watching, Peyton. I'm going to be out there cheering you on and watching.
Yeah, because my middle school, I know, doesn't have as many clubs and that I might go to, and so I want to like make it a goal that I actually start a club and actually like get teachers and students together and make sure that they have a place too.
That's great. And I love that goal. And I have no doubt that you are going to achieve that goal for sure. I'll put my money on you, Peyton, as we say. So one thing I wanted to ask you, we had to make a hard decision this week. And when you interviewed me, you asked me a lot about hard decision making. So we had to make the decision this week to postpone students coming to school in their buildings because of what's happening with COVID. And so I'm thinking a lot about how I can support people, principals, and teachers in getting to know their new class or their new staff through things like Zoom. So what advice do you have, or what ideas do you have about how we can still build relationships with each other, even if we have to do it across the computer? Do you have any ideas for that?
I think games are a very important part, because if you just jump right into teaching, you're not learning anything about them. So you don't know what they would like to be called. They don't know how you pronounce it. And it's just really important, like the teacher picks a random person and then they like share 3 facts about them, their name, and how they would like to be called if they have a nickname. And I think that would be like a really cool game to play just for like the first day of school or the first couple days, just to learn everybody's name and learn what we do.
Great idea. Do you think it would be helpful if students could talk about what it has been like to be at home, either on quarantine or having to stay in their house a month. Do you think it would help students to be able to talk about that?
Yeah, especially if you don't have anybody to talk to. Because if you can't talk to your parents and you don't have a sibling, it would be really important to talk about that stuff and what you're going through too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something I hope that we will all do, is just keep talking about this hard time, because it has been really, really hard for people. So I'm glad you have your roller skates, and I'm glad you're able to safely, even if you're 6 feet apart, you're able to safely do some roller skating outside with your friends. That's really, really good to hear. And not only is it healthy for your body, it's also healthy for your heart and your mind too, to stay connected with people in a safe way. So I'm glad you're doing that. Well,
and also if you connect with people, you learn a bunch of things too that you might have not thought of, or you haven't known before, because some people might have tricks or certain tips to do certain things. And I think it's very important to talk to people, even if you have to stay 6 feet apart, or if you even FaceTime them or video call them to just hang out and play something or do something.
Absolutely. I've heard adults talking about that too, that sometimes it feels good to just do a video call and be able to see the person who you're talking to. So that's for kids and adults. Well, do you have any other advice for me, Peyton? I'm going to have my first official day as superintendent on August 1st. Do you have any advice for me?
Just connect with everybody. Make sure they feel safe with you, and make sure they feel that they can come up to talk to you if they're having a problem and they can't talk to anybody else.
That is such good advice. It really is. And that means a lot to me, because that's something I've been thinking a lot about. And my first week on the job, there aren't schools that are open, but I'm going to be visiting some different departments and talking to people about their work. So maybe after that week's over, we'll have to talk again, and I'll tell you how it went. How's that?
Okay. And also, just be like a friend to them, because they might not have any friends or anybody to talk to, but if you make that connection to people, then it will definitely help you. And when you're trying to achieve something, they will vote for you, or they will do something to help you if you create a friendship and a bond with them.
Yeah, like being friendly and being friends so that you can work as a team together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea too. I have a feeling you might have learned some of those things in the Female Leadership Academy. Is that right?
Yeah, some things.
And maybe some from your mom too, right?
Yeah. My mom is very intelligent.
Good to credit your mom, Peyton. Moms like to get a little credit, right? Well, I can't wait to talk to you again. And when things get a little safer, someday you're going to have to come and visit my office, and then I'll come and visit you at school. How's that?
Okay.
Well, thank you for letting me ask you hard questions. You did a terrific job. And now we've both been able to be the interviewer and the interviewee, right? Okay, well, keep up the good roller skating, and let's talk again soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Peyton. Thank your mom, too.
Bye, Dr. Baker.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.